Everybody get up, no need to cram now. We got a real jam going down, going down, going down, going down, going down, going down. Welcome to the IntelliJAMS.
It's happy Monday, dude.
Happy Monday. I think we have a role reversal here. Usually it's you before the new fancy background that was getting called out. Now I've got like some weird blinds, shades. We're holding the mic today. We got a role reversal going.
My background is forever fancy. This is not virtual. This is real brick in my background.
The Denver office is actually so nice. So nice.
I imagine that those are real blinds in your background too, not virtual blinds. Oh yeah.
Play them like the washboard.
Beautiful. Those are high class blinds too.
All right, let's jam.
Let's jam.
So I have a specific thing I want to jam on today. We've been in the kitchen cooking something up. We have a new integration, and I think it is very relevant. We did a previous jam on kind of like retention marketing in e-commerce, and I think that we have like a very interesting add to the product for that retention marketer. I won't bury the lead anymore. Adam, I think you know what I'm talking about. We just released something. What is it? Let's jam on it. Let's talk about how to use it and integrate that into the IntelliGEMS use case.
Okay, so super excited about our Klaviyo integration. Obviously, Klaviyo is the store of a tremendous amount of data. It is also the origin of a lot of your customer touch points. And what we believe is that those customer journeys begin in the email, but they shouldn't end on the website. And we want to make sure that the website continues all those journeys where when you send, emails to your customers or able to segment your customers using Klaviyo, we can continue all of that awesome personalization and messaging onto the site.
I love it. We just also released a jam on talking about like the congruency between the first touch point and the actual experience you get. This is an extension of that. Let's go into the email use cases. So the customer journey, we can personalize, we can meet people where they are via an email. But I think like more importantly, you hit on it there, is Klaviyo has kind of become like the de facto CRM for Shopify. So everything you know about the customer, the segments, what they've done is kind of like inside of there. So maybe let's go down two paths. Let's jam on like email and how you can turn email into like a personalized experience, and then maybe talk about segmentation and what that means for what you can do on the site as well.
Yeah. So I think that like one of the great things about Klaviyo, and I imagine like retention marketers are doing this already, and I could probably get schooled in a lesson in this, but you have all sorts of different types of flows where it's like the 60-day non-repeat purchaser, the abandoned cart, the like person who purchased product X and now you're trying to cross-sell product Y. So you have all these awesome flows that if they don't exist in Klaviyo, probably should. And I'm not going to sort of pretend to know exactly what the best flows are in practice. But then all of those things that we're talking about, when we talk about flows in Klaviyo, some of these like automated triggered things that are based on lifecycle events, that are based on triggers and timing and things like that, those are personalized, right? In a way.
Yep.
And they're based on the fact that you purchased something and didn't purchase again for 60 days, or they're based on the fact that you abandoned the cart. Not everyone is getting that email. It's different than like our Black Friday sale is now live. These are timed, they are targeted. And for all those reasons, they're personalized. Now, when someone clicks through those emails on site, how can we continue that experience and that personalized experience? What's great about the integration, maybe just a quick plug on like some of the mechanics of it. What's great about the integration is we used to be able to click through an email and personalize your site. What we are now doing is view through. So in addition to click through, you could also view through, where when I say view through, it's you read the email, you open up your browser. Instead of clicking on the link where you have UTM attribution, you're just going to the website. And because you're cookied by Klaviyo in your browser, we are able to also pull that you are in this segment and so continue to personalize even if you didn't click through. So we are like extending that capability in a really important and powerful way.
I love that. That actually opens up so much more that we can do. Because again, like if I have to click and go to a specific experience, like again, flows in a previous life, this was kind of like all I did was work with brands on their flows as both a retention consultant and in a previous role. And that's one of the hardest things is like, hey, you have to have all these like unique pieces on the site and like manage all of these flows to point to very specific things. So with what you're saying with like, hey, the view through here is, hey, I know someone is in this segment. They've been cookied because they opened that email. Okay, now the site is actually like different for that person. Like, has there been anything that you've been thinking of on like how to utilize that effectively versus just like the click through to a specific landing page?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like the most obvious one that comes to mind for me is discounts and offers. I know that like a big part of emails, abandoned cart, sort of win back. A lot of these emails are meant to get you to purchase. A lot of the tactics that we use are offers. A big concern around incorporating discounts into these emails is around code leakage and like the inefficiency there. So what's great about being able to know that someone is in that same segment is you can now like both merchandise and do automatic offers that don't apply to everyone. So like in Shopify, you can't configure an offer that is automatic and targeted at a subset of people. All automatic offers are like based on like what's in your cart or like, a specific product or something like that. Whereas this is an automatic discount that is targeted based on just being in a Klaviyo segment. So that's like one, whereas like you now make, if you weren't doing offers, this potentially opens up the ability to, because you were afraid of code leakage, you were afraid of like the mechanics of all of that. And if you are doing offers, I think this dramatically improves that experience because you can like update the banner at the top of the page to say you're getting this offer. If you had an abandoned cart flow that's saying you're getting free shipping, even if you didn't meet the shipping threshold, you can go update all the places around the site that say, here's the free shipping threshold that you do not meet to say you are getting free shipping because you are like in this abandoned cart flow. You wouldn't say it obviously that way, but that's the idea. So that's the one that's most obvious to me.
There's some that I'm thinking about here, again, from like a previous life. There's a lot of flows that are targeting repeat purchasers. Even if I don't have like a formal loyalty program or VIP program, like I might run retention flows inside of Klaviyo to be like, I want to offer something or do something to someone who has made 3+ purchases. So in this world, could we have like, hey, there's that 3+ segment and like, hey, I now know this, and then have things happen on the site based on what I know about that person in Klaviyo has made 3 purchases, or maybe even more specifically has made 3 purchases of a particular product, and now have like a personalized offer to jump into a subscription for said product because I know they bought this exact same product 3 times in a row.
Yeah. So one of the, like, that brings up a really awesome use case in my mind, which is like, you don't necessarily have to, it doesn't have to anchor on a Klaviyo email. So again, like, because it is not necessarily anchored to a UTM parameter or clicking through, you can go build segments in Klaviyo, which are dynamic rule-based audiences, and then target based on that. And so someone who has purchased before, you now know that when they are on the site. So like when you think about like all your site content, it doesn't necessarily have to correspond to an email flow or campaign. It could also just be based on some of these user segments that you build in Klaviyo, and Klaviyo being the source of so much information and data. Like that is a very strong way to build on-site personalizations. So again, you could have someone who purchased 3 times, and you know that because they are in your purchased 3 times Klaviyo segment, and now have a personalized experience on the site for them. Or someone who is, sensitive skin, and that is the segment that they are in Klaviyo based on the results of a skin quiz, which now is how you target to them on site. So it opens up this not just through the email marketing, but through everything you know about a person to be able to speak directly to them on site.
I think that right there is the most exciting piece of this for me. Again, as like a former person like invested in retention marketing, there's a few kind of like flows that people would build, but they became really hard to manage because of like, hey, they need to go through here, they need to click on this, and then I'm going to send them to like a specific spot to do said thing. We hit on one like, hey, it's tough to get someone to subscribe to something when they haven't showed like any sort of like habitual purchase behavior on it. Hey, if we have segments inside of Klaviyo, we could actually have like a dynamic offer to subscribe on the site. Hey, if it is someone who we would call them like the win back campaigns or like has gone cold, hey, this person is in this segment in Klaviyo because they've made a purchase, but they have gone 6 months, 8 months without coming back. Like, hey, could we do something on the site where it's a little bit more aggressive of an offer than what we would normally do? Because, hey, like we thought this person was a goner anyway. They were never coming back. They're here.
Yeah.
Let's convert them right now.
Yeah. One other idea that I wanted to run by you, Alex, because a lot of the ideas that we're talking about are sort of like mid and later stage life cycle campaigns, which I think are super important and valuable. But one of the things that I'm hearing a lot is also around like the welcome offer. And so you have someone come to the site, they put in their email for the welcome offer. Maybe they don't purchase right away. One thing that I think is really compelling, and part of why I think it's so compelling, is because it is just very high volume. And so if you think about like percentages times volume, like this is just such a high volume percentage of your traffic, which is like people who qualify for a first purchase discount, but have not yet purchased. And so like, can you use Intelligems to target that segment? Anyone who's in that segment and is identified by Klaviyo gets that discount automatically, is merchandise that discount everywhere. So the banner on the PDP, in the cart, everywhere says that as soon as you add an item to the cart, the discount's applying, and they're getting that discount. You're merchandising that discount. It's a much more like powerful flow, and it's a really high volume flow.
That good point. A lot of like those late stage things I was talking about, like someone has to get to 3 purchases, and like you need to have a certain amount of volume to get to that point. But like, hey, like one thing we always talk about on here, and you're always pushing me for, is like be closer to the money. That's closer to the money. And I think it's really interesting too, because I don't know about you, but anytime I'm on a site where I potentially could buy something, when that welcome offer comes up for like 10% or whatever it is, I take it, but I almost never buy in that moment. But it's really interesting if like I've taken that offer, like I've given my email, I've given SMS, I don't convert, and like, hey, they're going to send me emails, but like maybe I end up just on that. We always go to like the cycling use case. Like I'm looking for new jerseys right now. So I've got my email in on a few different cycling brands. If I go back and check, cause I'm just looking at which one do I want, and I'm seeing that like, oh, hey, Alex, welcome back. Here's that 10% that we already know you've qualified for. And I just have to like put it in the cart, and I don't have to go back and find the code or go back and find that email, because like we were joking at the beginning of this podcast, we're on a time limit because my son's going to come in here and just like harass me. That's going to happen when I'm shopping too. So make it easier.
Yeah. And remind them, right? Like it's just in your face, in a good way. It's not obnoxious. I think that's just really effective. What's the point of a discount? We talked about this with free shipping too. What's the point of offering free shipping if you don't merchandise it? The point of free shipping thresholds is to get people to add more to their cart so that they get to the free shipping threshold. You're not trying to extract, I mean, the shipping revenue below the threshold is nice, but actually the point is to drive AOV. And so if you're not going to drive that AOV behavior without a progress bar, without some sort of merchandising and feedback to the consumer that free shipping threshold exists. Similarly, like the point of a welcome offer, like you're happy to have someone get $5 off or 10% off.
Use it.
You want people to use that offer if that's going to get them over the line. So you might as well remind them that they have that offer. It's not
Yeah. And to that point, you have these offers for specific reasons. There's a reason that the welcome offer is usually like a 10% or something low. It's like, hey, you have this assumption that they're going to make a purchase anyway, and I'm willing to trade that 10% to get their email so that I can go and like remarket to them once they leave the site. But like, hey, remember that they might end up back on the site. You don't necessarily have to get them through email or have to get them through SMS. And these offers, to your point, like making sure they're in front of people, is you give those steeper offers in certain situations. Like a cart abandonment is usually more than like that welcome. Like, hey, you were closer to the money. Let's get you to convert. Like the ability to personalize these offers. And like you and I have talked before about personalizing content, good. Personalizing offers, pricing, discount, like that's excellent. That's like closer to the money. I I love that. And we talk a lot about testing those. Like we have a lot of brands who will test their welcome offer. Is it 10%? Is it 15%? Is it 5%? But like now we're potentially able to like test into a whole different range of like potential offers based on what we know, not just like the channel you came in on, but like what you've done in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the intersection of all of that, the offer, the merchandising, the audience being able to pull from Klaviyo all of that much more powerful data is starting to get super powerful.